Hey, we hope you're having a great week.
Yeah.
We're here back on the podcast where we have a little bit of follow-up conversation about the topic generally from our weekend services
Mm-hmm.
and then some other things that are going around Community Christian just to keep you updated. So we hit a topic on Sunday, which, Justin, is everybody's favorite topic.
Yeah. I love talking about money. I used to be a part of a church community where we just didn't talk about it because it was awkward. And I appreciate that even though it's hard for us, to talk about it, and we do it a couple times a year at least. We talk about finances and giving. This week, we were kind of more talking about how God views money and then its impact on our spiritual life.
Yeah. It's right. I don't know why people are surprised that we talk about money, right? Because Scripture talks so much about money. About the concerns of the love of money or that money leads towards evil. And we said very clearly, money is a tool.
Right.
It's neutral.
Yeah.
It's waiting for you to be directed where to go. But we've just seen, as Scripture says, when people pursue it in an unhealthy way or make it the priority, it brings all kinds of grief. Yeah, it can be the root of some really bad things. So we've got to talk about it. It's part of people's everyday life, right? Is you're spending money. Hopefully you're making money. How are you investing money? How are you budgeting? It's a part of the life in the world that we live in.
What the government does with our money.
Yeah, that's a big conversation too. So for you, you're in an interesting spot. And I said this yesterday. We had a number of high school, college age students in the room. In fact, there was a couple of the young ladies that are high school students, and they were sitting next to me on the front row during worship, and they had come out and served on Saturday to help us with a seminar. They had done the childcare, and they love the Lord. But I'm thinking, man, if you guys can start living out these principles now as young people, how impactful it is. And there's these great principles from Scripture, and you have a high school age student who's starting to earn, who's starting to work. And so what kind of conversations is that creating around finances as he begins to make some money?
Yeah, he's starting to make some money. The government doesn't know that yet, but
they do now.
Yeah,
Welcome to the Community Christian Podcast.
That's right. I think what we talked about was how we handle money as a spiritual discipline.
Yeah.
And so as we talk about money in his life, we're talking about being disciplined with it. Comes in, he gets really excited about stuff, as any kid does.
Well, as we did, yeah.
I want to spend my money. Like, I want to buy a thing. And I'm like, well, if you save it up, you can buy a bigger thing. Like, we're trying to get him to think about a car. He's thinking about an e-bike, and I'm like, an e-bike ain't going to get you to your job. So just trying to talk about some of it just kind of almost burns a hole in your pocket. Like, he's excited that he's done it, excited that he's earned it. He also gets a little excited to spend it, and then
it's almost like it's built into us. Well, now I got to find something to spend this on. I can have more, and you got to teach him how to logically think through what are you going to buy, why, or like you said, if you wait a little longer, you could actually have something of greater value that would benefit you longer.
Yeah, I don't think that it's natural for most people to think about investing or leveraging finances for more. Like, I don't know that's natural for most people to think about, especially at an early age. And so just talking to him about some of those things, and then it opens up for him, it's going to open up doors for other conversations, spiritual conversations. And so even recently we had a conversation, okay, well, you saw me preach on Thursday night about giving. Like, I want you to consider what you want to give. I didn't hard press him on the tithe either, everybody. I told him, like, this is where we aim to be at as a family as well. But we want you I need you to start considering, what do you want to give back? And here's the thing, and I've mentioned this before in talking and preaching about this, is my first paycheck from Great America, or even from my first internship at a church, was very small. I think when I started working at Great America, it was like $5 an hour.
We're making a whole lot.
Yeah, I wasn't making a whole lot. And then to see taxes taken out of that, but it was brutal. Like, that's a reality.
I just made $3.25 for guessing people's weight in Great America.
I know for a fact I was making under $100 a week in my internship job at church, and I was giving off of that. I was tithing off of that, and I think that was something that my parents modeled. My mom kept the books at the church that we grew up at, or I grew up at. And so it was a rhythm of my life at an early age. I just knew that's what you were supposed to do. But I also, I think, just as I'm talking about
Yeah.
this,
What are you trying to say?
what I'm trying to say is, one thing is giving generosity is modeled. And I actually talked about,
Yeah.
Steve Dang gave a great illustration of generosity at the parenting seminar on Saturday, where he is pretty open-handed about things even in their house. And a young adult needed an air fryer, and he's like, well, just take ours. And his daughters have learned, oh, that's how you're supposed to be with your stuff. You're supposed to be open-handed. You're supposed to be willing to give it away to somebody who needs it or even wants it. And so I guess going back to my own upbringing, I watched my mom write the check, that was our gift to the church. I watched them give when the business was down, and I watched them give when the business was up. And so it was modeled. I do think part of the downside of giving through an app like we ask you to do, because it helps you stay honest, is my kids haven't really seen that money come out of our pockets.
Yeah, they don't see you put a check in when they're
Yeah.
sitting with you on a Sunday morning
Yeah.
or bring that cash out. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little bit different
It's a
world.
little
You're
different.
right.
It's harder to model. And so
Yeah, because we give online too. Our daughters never see us actually participate
exactly
in giving. Yeah.
The other side of that too is my kids don't see the bills. They don't see how much the energy bill is if they leave the heater on or the air conditioning on. They don't understand how much we pay in rent. And so anyways, for Josh, just asking him, hey, you're making money every so often, and you need to consider, what you should give to the church in that. So they do give towards Be Rich and some different other things, but he's starting to have a little bit more of a consistent income stream right now.
Yeah, I just think there's something about, like you said, learning that young, learning to give when you have little. I mean, it's biblical. Faithful with small,
Yep.
and you'll be given more. And I'm thankful for people who helped me, through some ups and downs, figure that out in my high school years. I did say something yesterday that I think is important. And I said it in one of the services. I was talking about 10-10-80.
Yep.
And we talked about, hey, how do we budget? And again, I encourage people to move, right?
Yeah.
You start small towards a tithe.
Right.
I do think it's biblical.
I do.
I've seen God bless it in my life. I think it is disciplined. I think that what you're trying to teach your son, the discipline you have in finances, it pours over into other areas. So as the 10-10-80, and the way my wife and I look at it, we learned early on and at the beginning of our marriage, hey, we're going to give 10%, and that changes as income comes in. And then we've worked over the years to be better savers. And so encourage people to save 10%. Scripture talks about being wise in our saving and doing those things. And then, I want to remind people that you have this 80%, right? Then if you know what your budget is, and I've given first and I've honored the Lord and I've saved, and there's ways to do that. I have this 80% to work off. So I said in one of the services yesterday, I said, man, if you have the 80% and you've got your needs taken care of and you've been able to save some of that 80% so your family can go on vacation somewhere, then do it. If you're not going into debt, because I wouldn't encourage that, but budget wisely and go. And there's a freedom then in going. Enjoy that vacation. Do that to the glory of God. Be like, I'm spending time with my kids or my in-laws or our friends, or we're together. This becomes a worship moment to celebrate.
Right.
God, you've provided, we've saved, we've budgeted wisely. And there's even a freedom in going to do the fun things of life. Again, I really think there's something to that 10-10-80 principle. Encourage people, if you're not doing that, to move towards that. And we just highlighted yesterday too, don't let the enemy use this talk about finances and money.
You did a good job at
to make you feel shame, to make you feel down on yourself. It's no, how do we move forward? Let's make a plan. Let's be disciplined. And so much as we talk about the management of money, it's so much more than the piece of giving. This is your daily life,
right? And
how you do things, and the freedom in doing it well, and moving out of debt. And there's aspects of, hey, we work hard, and we're meant to work, and Scripture talks about those things. So there's so many great principles there. And so we're hoping this next year to provide some resources for you by providing, again, Financial Peace University. If you've never been through it, if you're really hurting right now and you need some resources right now, shoot us an email in the office. cashless, connect with us. We'll send you what we have that we believe can be beneficial to you. There's some great books, great resources, things online, courses from Financial Peace University you can take right now before we even put a class together in 2026. But this is a big area of life. And so as a church, as pastors, I don't want to feel bad talking about it. And as a church, we shouldn't feel shamed or have to brace ourselves to talk about it. It should be part of our normal conversation. How we honor God with the resources that he's given us should be part of our normal conversations, and how we encourage one another.
Yeah. And I think we do that with a lot of different conversations, and it is a discipline. And so it is something that's learned. Like even Paul says that in Philippians, I learned how to be content.
Yes.
It wasn't something it's not necessarily something that comes natural to us. We have to learn those things, and then we have to be honest with ourselves. And as you grow up or you mature spiritually, you can look at some of your expenses and go, wow, I didn't know I was spending that much on that thing, and is that really benefiting to me, or would that be better for me to help, put that towards something else that would free me up? How do I find freedom in my finances? And sometimes it's going without. We heard that on Saturday too at the our kids need to learn to go without so that they can spend their money somewhere
keeping up with the Joneses doesn't work because the Joneses are in debt. We know it from the numbers in our country. Don't do it like everybody else.
Yeah.
They're out having fun and doing things, but they're putting themselves in debt, and they're carrying a weight and a stress that
they're having hard attacks.
On the backside of what looked fun is not enjoyable.
Right.
And so don't give in to that lie. Set some boundaries for yourself. Live disciplined, right? As you head into the Christmas season, man, if you don't have money for gifts, you don't have money for gifts. I'm sorry your family expects certain things, but like if the finances are there, you got to do it differently, and you got to own that, right? Until something shifts in that place. But yeah, love this. I love the topic of money and what you just said about it's learned. I have had to learn. I'm not a financial person.
Still learning.
You have to find wise people in the church or financial managers, people who have understanding. Go to classes like FPU and others. Like it is a learned thing. We're not educating people on this through our school systems anymore. You've got to go find somebody to help you through this process.
Right.
And we can give you some direction on where to find that if you need it. All right, before we close out, we're heading into this, what we call this holiday season. And the holidays, the holy days. These days are set
aside. It's okay if somebody says happy holidays to you. Don't freak out about that. That means happy holidays, holy days.
So specifically, we have this day of Thanksgiving, which in our nation, if we really go back, has a biblical foundation to stop and thank the Lord for how he's blessed us individually, as a nation, as families. And then obviously Christmas is just the celebration that God has given us the gift of Jesus. So in all that, we have a bunch of different events happening. Give me one that you're looking forward to and why you're looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to
it. All right.
I know. To the worship night.
Oh, I was going to say the worship night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Austin's putting together the worship night, and we're having it here at the Morgan Hill campus. And I'm hoping that we just blow the walls out. There's a ton of people here, and it's super fun, and that we have the doors open because there's people in the parking lot that are worshiping, and that's what I would really love to see. So we do a few events a year where we try to have both campuses and online campus come together as well. And so this is one of those events. And so we average quite a bit more than what that our auditorium in Morgan Hill holds. So I'm hoping that it's a fluffy night, and it's a lot of fun.
We hope on that 23rd of November, you come to church that weekend on Thursday or Sunday, and then come out for the worship night. And this has become more of what I'll call a family night, a community Christian. You can invite guests to come with you, but we serve you dinner at 5:00. We just want to provide dinner because we want the family, the two campuses and online, to be together and worship. It's just an opportunity to worship, to celebrate God, again, to slow down. There won't be a big teaching piece or anything that night. So that's one. Then I'll give one of the other ones, Jingle Jam.
Yep.
So we already have over 50 people signed up. This is a few weeks away, and we want you to sign up so we know for food. But this is for families, particularly if you have kids, I would say 5th grade and down.
Yep.
For you to come, it's fun. We have all kinds of activities set up over the building. There's a kind of I don't know, it's like theater production, but a kind of a fun stage production put on around Christmas. And this is an opportunity for you to invite other families to come.
Yeah.
So bring them. in the midst of the night, they're going to hear the gospel and what Christmas is about, but it's going to be in this whole aspect of fun that's created around the building on the Morgan Hill campus. We're doing it at the Morgan Hill campus just because we have use of all the space and the rooms. And we've had great participation from both campuses the last couple of years as we've done this. And I feel like this year it's going to just go to another level.
Right.
So plan to be here if you're a family with kids at home, particularly elementary and down, and invite your neighbors and the families from school that you know to come out that night. Again, it's free. It's just a good time.
Yeah. And the student ministry, Whit and Shelly, they're kind of helping serve there. So if you have junior high students or high school students and they're looking to serve, Shelly probably has a spot for them. It's going to be
let them be
really
on the Jingle Jam team, putting it on.
Yeah, so it's going to be great. And then we have all kinds of other stuff. We have Christmas Eve coming up, but there'll be more podcasts in the future.
Yeah.
We can talk about some
Don't
of that.
rush us through the holidays.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just enjoy
one
being
thing
in the holidays.
All right. Hey, we love you. God bless you. We'll chat with you soon.
Later.